Bonjour, je suis Tunchai Redvers. How are you? My given name is Tunchai. I am Dene-Métis from Treaty 8 territory in the Northwest Territories. So I grew up across Hay River, Yellowknife, and Dene-Métis First Nation or Fort Resolution. Oh my goodness, where to start? I wear so many hats. So I am a multidisciplinary performer. I'm a writer, a creator, a founder, a facilitator and public speaker, an auntie, a daughter. I also identify as queer and two-spirit, so I hold that identity close to my heart, and I'm very proud of that. What I'm known for is co-founding the We Matter campaign, which is a national multimedia campaign that is Indigenous-led, that was started by my brother and I, that was launched in 2016, with the purpose of sharing messages of hope, culture, and strength with Indigenous young folks across so-called Canada who may be struggling or contemplating suicide. And with that, I do a lot of advocacy work around Indigenous and queer Indigenous mental health. Growing up in the North, I had no concept of what being two-spirit or what being queer meant because there was absolutely zero visibility and representation. As well, when there was representation, whether it's, in news or headlines or again, TV, film, it was such poor and harmful and toxic representation. Because of that, I did struggle with a lot of, mental health challenges growing up. I struggled with self-esteem and identity issues, and to this day, I'm just so dedicated to breaking that norm, changing those narratives, getting young queer Indigenous people into media online in ways where they can and we can tell our stories in the way that we want to, so that we can recreate and change the narratives for ourselves, so that those young generations to come are able to see themselves visible in the mainstream and believe that they have a place and like they belong. And I truly believe that, media and digital technologies are tools for life promotion. And so with horrible connectivity in the North right now, there still is this sense of isolation. I definitely felt this growing up. So this displacement and disconnection was a tool of colonization. And I would, argue that connectivity continues to be a tool of displacement. What's being created is a sense of isolation. You're isolating people from the rest of the world. You're isolating people from family, from community. And so I think in order to break out of that, we need to bring a stronger sense of connectivity, digital connectivity to the North, and also begin, curating narratives that are Indigenous, led by and for Indigenous people and Indigenous young people. I think so often, we think of engaging in digital technology as moving away from this traditional Dene way of living and way of being. And I would say that yes and no. Dene people traditionally were incredible at adapting. I mean, we lived in subarctic and Arctic climates, we had to survive. And so we need to be able to adapt to this current climate. And the current reality is that a lot of young Indigenous folks are connected, they're online, they want to be connected. So how do we create a balance of also creating space and having opportunities for Indigenous young people to disconnect? I guess that's what I want to say about that, is kind of in order to disconnect, we need to create opportunities for young people to connect. And so how do we create digital opportunities for young people to be able to reclaim language and learn about their identity and engage in Dene storytelling, or online circles where Dene young folks can gather no matter where they are geographically and maybe share stories and teachings where they are still intentional and rooted in that good way, if that makes sense.